Good morning, class. So, hope you're doing well. Hope you are staying home and following the directions of the government. All right. So today in this grammar lesson, we're going to go to your student book, Unit 13, page 76. Okay. So once you are there, we are going to talk about one specific tense called present perfect. All right. So this is to talk about something that happened in the past that may still continue to happen in the present. For example, here it says, I have never talked to a real artist. So that means that up to now, up to this day, that person has not talked to a real artist, but we don't know that if in the future he will talk to someone famous, for example. So it's something that happened in the past that we are not sure that will happen in the future again. So the structure will be as follows. So you need the subject, that is, for this case, I. This is the auxiliary verb have or has, depending on the person. If you're talking about the first person or the third person is an animal, a thing, or someone else. He, she, it. Remember, right? The verb in past participle and the complement. Okay, we have an example here. I have, because I'm talking about myself, I use have, not has, right? This is the contraction for this. Okay, so it's I apostrophe ve. I've traveled with double L. Remember, this is the past participle of travel, to travel. Okay, so it says I've traveled to Australia and the United States. So that means that at some point in the past, I've been to those places. But I don't know if in the future I will come back. Probably yes, but I don't know. So you see, this is the structure. The structure is the subject, once again, have or has, depending on the person you're talking about, traveled, the verb in past participle, and the complement. Okay? So with the present perfect, you can use questions. You can make questions. With this, have you ever, talking about the same thing, have you ever traveled to Australia? So that means I'm trying to find out if you at one point have been to Australia or have traveled to Australia in the past. So in Spanish would be alguna vez tú. This is alguna vez. ¿Alguna vez tú has viajado a Australia? Have you ever traveled to Australia? So you can say, no, I have never traveled to Australia. So that's one way to answer that question. Or you can say, yes, I have. That's completely fine. And or no, I haven't. So to answer these questions, you have to answer with the auxiliary verb, that is have, right? Because we're using have, you have to answer with have. Or you can answer I haven't, or this is the contraction for have not, right? Okay. Or if you would like to say that you have never been there, this is the same as the first example, but I would like to stress that it's really important that you know this structure. So no, I have never. So never always comes after have. Okay, so let's go to your book again and take a look at this. So here I want you to underline or circle the correct answer. I will help you so you can have those answers in your book. So here it says we use the auxiliary verb or the main verb. Which one? The auxiliary verb, right? And the auxiliary verb is have or has. have plus the past participle of what verb? The main verb, right? Because we don't use the past participle of the auxiliary verb to form the present perfect. Okay, that's something very important that you have to keep in mind. So remember, we use the auxiliary verb have plus the past participle of the main verb to form the present perfect. 2. We use the present perfect to talk about experiences when? In the past, the present, or the future. Remember, I was explaining that something happened in the past. Okay, so the past. Okay, we can or cannot use words like last week or ago with the present perfect. What happened if you use these words like last week or ago? You are talking about something that happened in the past and finished in the past completely. So you cannot use these words. Why? Because otherwise you will be talking about past simple. Okay? So do not use last week or ago. So he will say we can't use words like last week or ago with present perfect. Okay? Number 4, we can use ever in present perfect. Remember, have you ever? Those are questions. So, questions. You underline or circle questions. Number 5, we can use never in present perfect statements, right? Remember, no, I have never, all right? So, ever for questions, never for statements or answers, all right? Good. Okay, so to check your understanding, I want you to go to this same page, 7676, see? And do exercise number 4. Make sentences in the present perfect. Okay, so here you have words. My mom never visit Antarctica. Remember, I will give you a clue with that one. So it says, my mom would be the subject, right? My mom. What do you need there? The auxiliary verb, right? My mom has, because you're talking about her, the third person of the singular, okay? My mom has never. You need the verb in past participle. In this case, visit is just like the regular verb, visited Antarctica. Okay, that's the first one. Okay, so you see, you need the verb, the auxiliary verb, depending on who you are talking about, never or whatever you would like to write. But remember, you cannot use ever in these ones unless it is a question. So if you have a question mark, then you know that is a question. So if it is a statement or a regular sentence without a question mark, you use never or something related to that sentence. Okay? So please write those sentences. You can use your notebook, or what I want you to do is to use an email and send it via Edukai or a regular email, but just text. I don't want you to take pictures. I don't want you to get in trouble to scan the document and send it, because as we know, we cannot go out. Okay? So do not scan, do not take pictures, just send the text via Irukai or email. Okay? Remember, write your full name and your course if you're in 8th, A, B, C, D, whatever. Your full name, 8th, and your course, A, B, C, D. Okay? That will be all for today. So thank you for listening, and stay home, stay safe, and take care of each other.